I've been thinking recently. I went through a breakup. I did the breaking up, and it's been incredibly hard. And something that has been helping me get through it has been the Lord of the Rings. Um, and I wanted to kind of maybe talk about it and maybe help other people who are struggling with not just breakups, but just hard things in general. I think Lord of the Rings is a gold mine for encouragement and guidance and peace and comfort. And so maybe I'll be talking about, I guess, breakups, but I think that it can be applicable to a lot of things. So hopefully anybody watching this will feel that encouragement and hope for themselves in whatever their situation is. I think the first thing that kind of stuck out to me is when a breakup happens, it kind of, especially like the first couple that I've been through 6 relationships. I'm not a very lovable person. I'm not easy to be with, but the something that has been apparent through all the relationships, like I said, especially the first couple, are it kind of feels like the end of the world when it happens, right? Like, especially when it's a long one, like a couple years or even a few months, it can sometimes feel like that. It just feels like everything is gone. Like you have no sense of identity. You don't. Your ambition is gone. Plans, even if the other person wasn't necessarily a part of them, it's just everything's gone, and the only thing that you identify with in yourself is just like raw pain. Um, the something that is kind of brought up a lot in Lord. And by the way, I'm going to be talking about the movies for Lord of the Rings. If I reference the books, I guess I'll make a note of it. But generally, everything will be in the movies. So anyway, something that is apparent in the movies and the books is that the hobbits are often in over their head to the point where they don't really understand the stakes. Even like Frodo and Sam, who understand that their quest is like when they leave, I think they know that it's like potentially it could save the world, but I don't know if that really resonates with them for most of the journey where they're like, yeah, this is a world saving quest, but like surely like other thing like I don't know. They certainly throughout the quest they learn to respect it, otherwise like they wouldn't have done the whole thing. But like Merry and Pippin are also great examples, and Rohan and Gondor, they're pledging for like roles of combat and leadership and whatever, and I think that to them, like a bad day would be like I don't know, like the person that like sells like the pipe weed was like out or something, or like raise the prices, and then all of a sudden they're in this whole thing like it's a funny moment, but in the Council of Elrond when Pippin says like when the hobbits all volunteer and then Pippin says like where are we going, like it's exactly that they have the stoutness and like the the drive to help, but they don't really fully understand like what is happening. um but like they find a way through and they do it because there's not really a choice. I mean, there is a choice. They could go back to the Shire and just kind of chill there and hope that people that know more and have more experience kind of figure it out, but they don't. They stick around and help and fight, and even if and maybe because they don't fully understand. And with breakups, I feel like it's it's similar. Like I guess when there's a breakup, there's not really a choice, especially if you're the one that got broken up with. It's like you don't really have that option to like go home to the Shire and just kind of like mind your own business while the world sorts itself out. You're kind of forced to go on the quest of pain and confusion and not knowing if it'll ever be okay again. But you do, and something that is important is you need, like, that was important to me at least, is I there's so much more happening in my life than I realize. Like, focusing on the breakup because it hurts and is fresh and everything, like, is justifiable and not wrong. But I have other things going on that are like bigger deals, or at least equal or whatever. Which kind of brings me to my next point, where Gandalf, just a quote that Gandalf has in the Mines of Moria when he's talking to Frodo, when Frodo's kind of freaking out about everything and he's super stressed, and Gandalf has this whole monologue, and a part of it he says there are other there are like other wills at work besides that. No, that's it. He says there are other forces at work besides that of the will of evil. Um, and this kind of affects me on like a broader range because I'm bipolar and have gnarly anxiety that's like, I don't even remember what they said it was when they diagnosed it, but it's fucking horrible. But so I guess this one in a broader sense too, but it is so, especially in a breakup, it is so vital to remember that there is other wills, like, at work in your life. Like, there is good that is happening in the world and in your life. Your dream person might have left you, but there's the opportunity to grow, to get to know yourself better, to try new things, to understand what maybe you might have done wrong so you can be better for the next person. Like, it is such just a hopeful thing to say to somebody. And if Frodo can believe that in the middle of the Mines of Moria, then I think I can believe that just laying on my bed and crying in the middle of the day with nothing really happening. And I guess one other thing that kind of came to mind is when I had like a visual where the moment that a breakup happens, like where they break the news on you, and there's not really a way, like, you kind of both know that that's what they're going to say, but you're hoping that they're not going to say it, and then they do a horrible job of saying it, and so they kind of say it by accident by saying something like I'm sorry, and then yeah, it's that whole kind of moment is really bad, and it's the pain and shock that you feel from it, I imagine, feels really similar to Frodo on Weathertop when the ring wraith stabs him. Like, obviously it's not like a mortal wound, just the shock of it happening, and just reeling from it, and you can't focus on anything else, and it hurts so bad. And then, like in the movie, like Arwen taking Frodo to Rivendell, and he's completely just a hunk of, like, he's checked out for all intents and purposes. He is completely dependent on Aragorn and Arwen taking care of him until he gets to Rivendell. And that's also kind of how it feels after, like a breakup. At least, like I said, the first couple where you're not really familiar with it, but where it's like you need people to take care of you. Like, you can't go to work, you can't. I had a breakup with a girl I thought I was going to marry, and she broke up with me in possibly the worst possible way you could ever break up with somebody. And I remember it was like a week after it happened. I thought I was doing okay, but then she didn't say anything. I was just at work, and I just ran out of work, just sobbing. And I wasn't thinking, it was purely just like, I can't describe it. And I just like ran home because I live pretty close, and I like ran home and then just started crying like on my parents' bed while they like consoled me. And like my boss was calling me, no one had any idea what was going on. It was horrible. And it feels like that. And then even after Frodo heals, like in the at the end of Return of the King, after everything's resolved, Frodo is still like rolling his shoulder and saying like, it's been 4 years since Weathertop, and he still feels the pain from it. And I don't. I think this applies a little less. I think you can't like my first breakup hurt, but like I don't feel like it hurts like anymore, and it's been like it's been a while. That being said, though, the one I was talking about, it's been more than 4 years since that one, and since then I've had uh, another relationship, and that I was a part of. I know I don't want to get into that, but like it, but that one still hurts sometimes. Like I don't think about it every day, and I when I do think about it, it's not like unpleasant, but sometimes like yeah, for one reason or another, something will happen, or I'll think of something or say something, and it'll remind me of a pleasant or a significant moment in that relationship, and it still hurts, and then it takes a long time to heal. I think you're in after a breakup, you're in survival mode for a good amount of time, and then you kind of take steps as the days go past that. Like that first like few days or like a week might just be unconsolable grief where you can't do anything, you don't want to live. It literally it seems impossible that anything could happen after that. But then like maybe the week after that you start like going to work without feeling like you can't be there. You start maybe a week after that like doing hobbies again, and then like maybe like a month after you're like living like a normal life, but there's still that huge gaping pain in you that is like it doesn't necessarily get in the way of your like day-to-day functions, but like you can't like pour your heart and soul into like your hobbies, or like you certainly can't like think about like dating or anything like that, or like you can like see your friends like once or twice a week, and then like you're too exhausted socially or emotionally to be able to do more. So anyway, I think that's really all I had to say. I just had these thoughts and wanted to share them. The Hopefully I can make a more impactful thing at some point, but for now I think that's pretty good and close to what I want to say. So yeah, if you're going through a breakup, whether on either side, it gets better, and however long that takes is kind of up to you. But no matter what or who you are, like it gets better. You heal. The only thing really to do is just try to find the lessons in it, and take the strength that you can to help yourself grow. Because while breakups are such a unique pain, they're also such a unique growing opportunity. They're they're honestly just really good positions and unique positions to build yourself, like rapid fire kind of. You can get so much done after a breakup once you're in the right headspace for it. So I hope everybody's doing okay, and yeah, and I will talk to y'all some other time.